We're joined now by senior political editor Steve Chaggaris in Washington. Steve, Donald Trump has a very strong lead in New Hampshire. What would his second place finish in New Hampshire mean?
Well, considering that he's been leading in the polls there for months, maybe that the polls are all wrong to this point, but also I think really he's said it. If he comes in second, he's wasted his time. He says he wants to win these races, he wants to win the nomination, and he feels that all of this would be for naught if he didn't win in New Hampshire. And I think what it would say is that maybe the Donald Trump phenomenon isn't really based in anything but popularity and name recognition, and that voters really, would be interested in choosing somebody else as their nominee.
So Ted Cruz compared Trump to Bernie Sanders during an interview last night. We want to play that for you first, and then we'll talk a little bit about it.
We're seeing real distinctions on the issues. So, for example, Donald Trump enthusiastically supported the TARP bailout of big banks. I opposed it. He enthusiastically supported Barack Obama's stimulus plan. He thought it should have been bigger. I think it was a disaster and a waste of money. Actually, Donald not only supported both of those, but he argued that Obamacare should be expanded to make it socialized medicine for everyone. Actually, Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders have basically the same health care plan.
All right, so this is interesting. Cruz has been very busy over the past couple of days denouncing anyone who backs Donald Trump as being part of the establishment, that big E word, except for, of course, Sarah Palin, as you heard in Major Garrett's story. The governor of Iowa came out and said he would like it if Cruz did not win. We heard Bob Dole was also pretty critical of Cruz. What's going on here, do you think?
Well, first of all, what's going on is a lot of people are throwing Cruz under the bus, a lot of people in the establishment. That doesn't necessarily mean that Donald Trump has all of a sudden become part of the establishment, but what it means is that that a lot of Republicans don't really like Ted Cruz, and they don't want to see him as their nominee, and they're becoming much more vocal about it as we get closer to voting time. But what's also happening here is Ted Cruz really has lost control of managing his message. He's really taken a back seat to Donald Trump in the last couple of weeks, whether it's been Trump suggesting that Cruz's birthplace could be a problem, his Canadian birthplace could be a problem in the campaign, whether it's the story about Ted Cruz's loans during his Senate campaign, which Donald Trump has been talking a lot about on the stump, that basically Ted Cruz is in debt to Goldman Sachs and Citibank, and so he's going to have to answer to the big banks if he becomes president, or whether it's being thrown under the bus by all these establishment types. Cruz is trying to tar Trump as an insider, and I don't know how that's going to work. I mean, right now, Donald Trump's biggest appeal is that he's an outsider, and then he goes and gets Sarah Palin, gets the endorsement of Sarah Palin, who is the ultimate outsider. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this Cruz offensive works.